Councillor Middleton Hope, this is sound check. Can you hear me? And we are live streaming.
Yep, I can hear you.
Thank you. Councillor Carlson, welcome. Sound check. We are live.
Hello, Ryan.
Thank you, Councillor.
Good afternoon and welcome to City Council meeting for Tuesday, March 26th. And we'll start off with a roll call. Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. Councillor Carlson?
Present.
Councillor Croson?
Present.
Councillor Dodick? Present. Councillor Palladino?
Present.
Councillor Parker?
Here.
Councillor Schmidt-Rempel?
Here.
Acting Mayor Middleton Hope?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Campbell?
Present.
And Mayor Hagan?
Present.
All present, thank you.
All right, thank you. The City of Lethbridge acknowledges that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people, past, present, and future, while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationships to the land. The City of Lethbridge is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta. Move on to the adoption of the agenda. A resolution from Acting Mayor Middleton Hope. Be it resolved that the agenda of the regular meeting of City Council on March 26, 2024 be adopted as presented. Madam City Clerk, are there any additions?
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. We do have a couple of additions to the agenda. We have one verbal labor negotiation update, and that's for confidential reports under Section 14. So it'll be a new item 14.5 as per Section 24 of FOIP. And council may wish to bring forward confidential report, Section 14, to be the first item of business today.
All right. And with that, Acting Mayor Middleton Hope.
So this would be a question to the city clerk then. Is this the direction that you're suggesting in regards to item 14.5?
We're adding item 14.5. It's a new item, and then we will do the closed item first. So we're going to bring forward all the closed items from 14.1 to 14.5 and do them as the first item of business.
Okay. Then what are we looking for? Are we looking for a vote?
Yep, just to call the question.
As amended, agenda as amended.
As amended, then I call a question.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. And with that, can I have a motion to go in closed? Councillor Deputy Mayor Campbell, all in favor? And that passes. Thank you. All right, thank you. We'll continue on with the agenda for the day, and we will start, or continue to start, with recognitions, and I'll start to my far right. Acting Mayor Middleton Hope, do you have any recognitions?
Just recognition for a beautiful snowy day in Fernie. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll move on to Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. This time of year, of course, many of our winter sports are wrapping up, and so I'm sure there are groups I'm missing, but I'd like to give recognition to the Lethbridge U19 Rattlers, who are a ringette team who won the provincials this weekend. So congrats to that entire team. And just also to those who in the Sports Hall of Fame who got announced the awards that they're winning. One that I have to make notice of course, long past, is Judge Jackson. He was a past Lethbridge Historical Society president and also represented Canada at the Olympic Games and did much more than that. So he's getting a special award, long past, but did incredible work for sports here, across Canada, and actually around the world.
Awesome, thank you very much. Councillor Palladino.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Councillor Parker.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank the community. I know we brought in this plow right, and it's been a process, and it's our second year doing it, and we're bringing in new faces, and we're learning from it. And we appreciate the community getting in touch with us, coming through 311. But I know our administration is trying to find ways to make it better. But it's a new system. It's a new way. It's something that's done in numerous cities across North America. But I just want to thank the community for their patience. I know there's places where we could do better, and we're going to try to do better. But I just want to thank them for their patience as well. But this is a great snow to have, so it's a godsend for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parker. Over to Councillor Dodick.
I have nothing.
Right. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to congratulate the participants and the organizers. The 37th annual Moonlight Run. It's just an amazing event. 1,470 runners. It was a snowy night, and but people showed up. Not the best conditions, but it's really an event that brings the community together, and it's really unique to the city. And I really admire all those that are participating. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo Deputy Mayor Campbell's comments. The Moonlight Run was a crazy one this year. I had many friends and family members participating. I was downtown watching them close the roads and set everything up, and I wanted just to wish them all the best for participating. What a crazy, beautiful night it was. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the University of Lethbridge for hosting its International Women's Day Leadership Conference on March 13th. It was an inspiring day, and I encourage everyone to mark their calendars for next year's conference, which is planned for March 12th. It was also great to see the turnout for this year's Youth One Black Tie Gala on March 16th. A total of $104,000 was raised this year. These funds will cover the equivalent costs of 86 youth members for the entire school year, providing them with access to programs, meals, and support services. Thank you to Youth One, as well as all of the other service organizations that support youth in our community, and thank you for everything you do. I had the opportunity to attend the Downtown BRZ AGM on March 18th. Their annual report is available on their website. And just to highlight, our 27-block downtown is home to 570 businesses with a 93% street-level occupancy rate. The Downtown BRZ hosted 30 events in 2023, and there were 93 days of events on Festival Square last year. All indications have us looking forward to another busy year this year. And congratulations to Adorable Tots Daycare that hosted an open house on Saturday, brand new daycare center that has just opened up here in Lethbridge. It was fantastic to see the number of parents there touring the facility and working on registrations. It certainly confirms the need for more daycare spaces in our community, and I encourage everyone to complete the daycare needs assessment on the City of Lethbridge's website so that we can do even more work in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel. I wanted to give a shout out to those that were involved with the Home and Garden Trade Show that we had at the exhibition. It was very well attended. I went on the opening day and did the tour. It was quite amazing to see that event and how it is transformed into the new building. So all of those involved, shout out to them. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the Lethbridge Hurricanes, who have made the playoffs here this year. And they begin this week on the 29th in Swift Current, and we'll be back in Lethbridge for Game 3 and 4 on April 2nd and April 3rd. And so anyone has the opportunity to get out and watch our local WHL team, I'd encourage you to go there. It's a great time and support for them. And let's raise the roof at that building and hope we can make round 2. Move to the consent agenda. I have a resolution from Deputy Mayor Campbell. Consent agenda be revolved at the minutes of the following meeting. A city council be approved and the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign and seal the same. It is up on the screen, and my colleagues, I'm sure in the package as well as public, have seen this. Unless you want me to read through the whole 4 pages, I think if there's any questions, we're fine with that. All right. With that, Councillor Crozan.
I think I may have the same idea as Councillor Dodick. I'd like to pull the 2023 unaudited year-end financial information for the agenda.
All right, 4.4.1 to pull that from the agenda, and that will move into to 8.1. So 4.4.1 will move to 8.1. All right, Councillor Campbell.
If there are no other questions, then I will call for the vote.
All right, question's been called. All in favor? And that's a pass. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Crozan.
It has nothing to do with the vote, but it is a question. And I have to ask this, what are non-lethal simulation guns? It was in the procurement report. Do we have, and I read that and one. So if somebody can answer, and what's their purpose? And because they were expensive.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Crozan, through the mayor. Perhaps unexpectedly, I have an answer to that one. It's simulated ammunition that the police use for training purposes, and this procurement, I assume, is just to renew that contract and get additional resources so they can continue their training.
That was my assumption, but somebody in the public asked, and I said I would confirm what those were. Thank you.
And Councillor Middleton Hope.
Yeah, I think Mr. Elliott has provided an adequate explanation of the non-lethal simunition that is used by the police for training.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Resolution from Mayor Higgin. Whereas on April the 6th, 2018, Canadians were heartbroken to hear the news of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash, where of the 29 passengers, 16 lost their lives and 13 will bear physical and emotional scars for life. And whereas on April the 7th, 2018, Humboldt Broncos defenseman Logan Boulet succumbed to his injuries. His parents, Bernadine and Toby Boulet, offered to donate his organs as Logan told his parents he was registering as an organ donor as he was inspired by his coach and mentor, Rick Suggett, who saved 6 lives as an organ donor in 2017. And whereas 6 lives were saved by Logan donating his organs. The news spread of the organ donation by this young hockey player, and it is estimated that more than 150,000 people registered to become organ donors in the days and weeks that followed. To date, this has been the largest number of Canadians registering to become organ donors in Canadian history due to one event and one person. And whereas the objective of Green Shirt Day 2024 is to inspire 100,000 more Canadians to register as organ donors, and whereas Green Shirt Day was created to honor, remember, and recognize all the victims and families of that fatal crash, and to continue Logan's legacy by inspiring Canadians to talk to their families and register as organ donors, And whereas on January the 11th, 1999, City Council passed a resolution stating the mayor's office would discontinue the long-standing practice of issuing proclamations to avoid endorsements for a cause or program that would result in controversy in the community. And whereas Lethbridge City Council has declared April 7th as Green Shirt Day every year since 2019, and whereas the current City Council requests an exception to the resolution passed at that time for this extraordinary cause, therefore be it resolved that Council approve an exception to the January 11th, 1999 resolution and request the Mayor's office to declare April 7th, 2024 as Green Shirt Day as a tribute to the City of Lethbridge resident Logan Boulay. Mayor Higgin.
I don't see any questions in the queue, so I'll open debate, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory with the resolution. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. A question I get all the time and quite regularly is, why wouldn't you do this in perpetuity? And I think it spoke a little bit to that as far as what is a resolution that's passed in 1999 by council to not do proclamations. And so the main part why I think that's it's best to bring it forward each year is it just brings to light exactly what has happened, the great work that something out of such a tragedy, what has come from such a tragedy. You see all of the different folks that have registered for organ donations since this time, and it's important, I think, we as council bring this forward each year to be able to speak about it and to share the good that is done from an individual that lost his life and has dedicated his organs and saved many lives. And so with that, I would ask for council's support.
Any other debate? I see none. I'll call a question then, I assume. The question's been called. All in favor? Looks like that passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. I have a resolution here from Acting Mayor Middleton Hope. Referral motion bylaw 6440 reconciliation Lethbridge Advisory Committee bylaw. Be it resolved that City Council refer bylaw 6440 reconciliation Lethbridge Advisory Committee bylaw to administration, City Clerk's office to be included in the boards, commissions, and committees review. Open it up for questions. Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. To the city manager or designate, I'm assuming Ms. Hilford or her team, how quickly will we be getting to the review process? So if we do refer this, what sort of delay are we looking? And is this something that can be easily accomplished under that review?
Thank you for the question. There would be no delay. We're on schedule. We have met with quite a few of the boards, committees, commissions. We'll be meeting with the admin staff and council in the next month or so. And then we'll be drafting the report to come back in June or July. So this will just be included in part of the review and recommendations that will be coming to committee.
Thank you. And another question, presumably to you, Mr. Elliott, because I believe you work with Reconciliation Lethbridge. Would there be any concerns from the committee if this goes to that referral? They know it will be coming back quickly from the review, but I don't think a delay would be an issue.
Through the mayor to Councillor Crowson, this will not impact the ability of the committee to continue to function, and they are aware that this is being referred regardless to the BCC process.
Right, because they're already in that. It's just whether or not bylaw comes first or second.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Higgin.
All right, you see no further questions. So with that, open debate. Acting Mayor, is there anything you have to add?
No debate.
All right. Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, Councillor Carlson. That is unanimous. Thank you. I have a resolution from Councillor Dodick, recommendation of audit SPC 2023 unaudited year-end financial information. Be it resolved that City Council receive the 2023 unaudited financial information report as information, and further be resolved that City Council acknowledge the allocation of waste processing operating surplus of $850,000 to the 2018 to 2027 CIP Project E7 Waste and Recycling Cell Development to reduce future debt financing as per FS6 debt management policy. And further, that City Council approve the reallocation of the Municipal Revenue Stabilization Reserve one-time funding for downtown clean and safe strategy to the following. $240,000 to community social development to be used to support spending on community and well-being issues that fall outside the scope of funding eligibility from external sources, and $100,000 to support crime prevention through environmental design program as presented within the 2023 unaudited report. Further, that City Council approved the initial transfers of $1.174 million and the creation of the Water Utility Reserve as presented with the 2023 unaudited report. And further, that City Council approved the initial transfers of $826,000 and the creation of the wastewater utility reserve as presented within the 2023 unaudited report. And further, that City Council approve alternative funding for anticipated 2024 offsite levy account shortfall consisting of the following: a line of credit of up to $2.8 million from the Municipal Revenue Stabilization Reserve to fund the 2024 commitments for debt payments related to arterial and stormwater projects, and further that the funds be repaid from future levy collection. An allocation of up to $1.2 million from water accumulated surplus and up to $2.25 million from wastewater accumulated surplus to fund the 2024 commitments for debt payments related to utility servicing projects, and further that the funds be repaid from future levy collection. And further that City Council approve the additional allocation of $5,000 from Real Estate Holdings Reserve for cost to close on purchase of SW-16-8-21 W4M. And I will open it up for questions. Councillor Dodick, are you just in for debate? Sure. All right. I see no questions, so to open debate, Councillor Dodick. Oh, sorry, Councillor Crowson. For a question or debate? Question. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for removing this from the consent agenda. Of course, there's some huge things in here, reserves, et cetera. I know we've got a huge document in front of us. A few questions I have. We see a surplus in transit at this point here. We have a lot of concerns from people about transit services. So can you just explain where the surplus came from? Is it going to be something we're ongoing? Is it a one-time thing? If you could talk to me a bit about that surplus in transit.
Thank you, Councillor Crowson. In regards to that, so I'll start off and I'll pass it over to Mr. Sanchez as well. So the surplus inside of here, as you're noting, just over $300,000 in surplus. A good portion of that surplus was relative to the sale of assets as well. To my recollection inside the notes, but I will turn over to Mr. Sanchez to see if he wants to speak to anything else.
Yeah, again, thanks for the question, and Mr. Matthews is 100% right. Most of that surplus is related to we sold some assets that we were not using, and that surplus is actually going to be used into the efficiencies and some improvements that we're planning to do into the system. And I have Mr. Yule here. I don't know if there is anything else that need to be added, but he and I had a conversation before this, and some of the improvements are going to go to services such as Access a Ride or regular transit services.
Thank you very much. The other thing, of course, several things are related to reserves. We're setting up a couple of new reserves. We see we have money, $3 million, that we're putting into reserves in electrical. Reserves, savings accounts, they make sense, right, from a savings account. But we also have a lot of people right now who are saying, I could use that money right now. It's like, do you use it today to bring down bills, or do you use it for savings? So when we look at something like the electrical or the water and wastewater, what are the advantages to the public, to the corporation overall, for putting this money into reserves and not reducing utilities or not reducing costs to the public?
Thank you, Councillor Crowson. So one of the main things for reserves is a couple different aspects. One is actually for the rainy days, for dealing with things unexpected so that we have funds inside of there. Now, the particular reserves in regards to electric or water or wastewater components, and the two that we're setting up today is water and wastewater. Therefore, actual future replacement of those assets or the life cycling components, which actually what it does is actually keeps our cost of borrowing down. So the actual cost of borrowing then is not And as you can imagine today with interest rates is quite high, so the more we can actually use, in some ways, our own or pay-as-you-go components of our funding actually reduces the amount of pressure on ratepayers. Electric is another example of that as well. So that really helps out in regards to not having to borrow for electric, which is actually keeping our cost lower in the long run. I'll pass it over to Mr. Sanchez, and I know that Mr. Drenth is in the audience too.
Yeah, just going to touch before Jason can explain a little bit on the electric side, but the other factor here is not, typically when we do the budget, we do a balanced budget where we try to recover what it costs. Some years on the water side, like Daryl explained, we might have a rainy year where not much water is being used outdoors. Sometimes we have a dry year where it's the opposite and people are using way more water, and that's where that balance goes. And the reserve will help us to, over the cycle, to make sure that we have the money to cover for the expenses. On the electric side, I will have Jason can explain. In this particular, his team look at the same approach, and he has some information that he can share.
Oh, I'm open here. Okay, thanks for the question, Councillor Croson. So what Mr. Matthews and Mr. Sanchez said was correct. Basically, every year, the electric utility comes before council and projects a forecast for what we need for budget for the next year. One of those variables is the provincial market. Because we play an electric market, we don't know exactly what the cost of services that the province provides, what our bill will be from them. So we put in a guesstimate based on our forecast. And then at the end of the year, we try and keep that close to zero, as Mr. Sanchez said. In 2023, we saw those provincial charges coming quite a bit lower than anticipated, so we ended up with a surplus in 2023. In contrast, in 2022, those charges came in much higher than anticipated, so we ended up with a deficit of $2.4 million. So the electric reserve, or the electric financial policy, allows us to use the reserve to stabilize rates. So in years like 2022, when we end up with a deficit, we're not going back to the customer saying we need more money. And in years like last year in 2023, when we have more money, we put that back into the bank to help stabilize the rates across all rate classes every year. So if you look back over the past 10 years, the electric utility has, on average, come in with a 0.5% deficit compared to budget. So we are managing appropriately. It's just we use the reserve to stabilize those rates over the long term, not year by year.
Okay. So to wrap this all up, Mr. Matthews, the essential is, long-range, long-lasting benefit rather than, maybe a short, quick benefit right now to anyone.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Higgin.
Thank you. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager designate. The document is large with a lot of information, so just looking for a bit of clarification on this one, particularly for the public. We do have the reallocation of municipal revenue stabilization reserve, one-time funding for downtown clean and safe strategy to the following. So we're looking at $240,000 to community social development to be used to support spending on community and well-being issues that fall outside the scope of funding eligibility from external sources. What might some of those community and well-being issues that fall outside the scope be?
Thank you, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel. So from time to time, there is cost associated with anything from fencing to trying to think some other aspects over the years, but sometimes there's even other agencies or so forth that's not funded or eligible under the federal funding that we receive, which is 99% of the funding, well, maybe not 99%, but the high percentage of the funding. I should not get my facts there wrong. A high percentage of funding comes from federal sources on it. But the reality is that what this funding is for any of those other pieces that come up along the way, whether it's ineligible in any other program, they can actually use these funds to actually be able to deal with those social issues as they arise.
Okay, and if the $240,000 or $240,000 isn't spent, then that will roll back into
So that is within the BAU component, so this follows the same rules as everything else, that it has to be used for those purposes. If it doesn't, and it's not being used for a period of time, then that's where the city manager would put that back to the MRSR.
MRSR, okay. And then just secondly, right under that, we have the $100,000 to support the CEPTED program. Is that program currently fully subscribed, and will we see the uptake of that $100,000?
Yes, so I'll let Mr. Elliott answer a bit more on this here, but my understanding is it's fully subscribed, that program, and this is a beneficial component to add into it. It's been a very sought-after program.
Mr. Matthews is correct. Nothing further to add. It is fully subscribed, and the timing is great if this passes today because there are applications that are in the queue.
And will the $100,000 cover those applications?
At this point, yes, but again, remembering we're just at the end of Q1, there's likely to be additional applications through 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. And yeah, it's a great program that the City of Lethbridge has put in place. Thank you.
Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you, Your Worship. I dropped out of the queue. Those two questions were actually the two questions that I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I see no further questions, so I'll turn it over to Councillor Dodick to open debate.
Jeez. No, I see the red mic is on now. Actually, this was pulled, apart from asking the question that were asked, it's really to highlight the fact that there's a slight variation between what the recommendation was from the audit committee and what's actually up on the board. So you'll see 3 places where there's 4 places where you'll see in bold, which is somewhat different from the recommendation that came out from the audit committee. So basically, this is just house cleaning and self-explanatory resolution, which I would ask for council's support.
And I see no further folks in the queue, so can I take that as your opening and closing?
That's pretty well it, yeah.
All right. Question's been called. All in favor? All right. That's what passes. Thank you. I have a resolution here from Councillor Parker, Lethbridge Needle Debris Mitigation Funding, Government of Alberta. Be it resolved, the City Council approve the expenditure of $115,000 from the Government of Alberta for provincial fiscal year 2024 to 2025 to complete the effective collection and disposal of drug-related debris to mitigate potential community harm. Councillor Parker.
Time.
I do have a question. It does say needle debris mitigation funding, but also in it does say collection disposal of drug-related debris. So this goes beyond needle debris. I know the answer to this, but I'd like to ask the question. Ms. Kleisinger.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. As part of this program and through the contract that was awarded to the Clean Sweep program, and that just as a note, this has been going on, we've had this funding and using this program since 2019, but they are required to safely dispose of anything, and that might be other drug paraphernalia as it's collected as well.
Thank you. Knew the answer to that question, but I think it's important the community had that as well to understand it goes beyond needle debris. Councillor Middleton Hope.
Thank you, Your Worship. This question is to Ms. Kleisinger. Of the $115,000 that will assist in needle debris mitigation, are we expending any of these funds on training our personnel in the proper handling and disposal of these needles? That is the first question. The second question is, what kind of a strategy have we developed in terms of actual disposal rather than garbaging these needles? What kind of strategy are we utilizing beyond Sharps containers? What are we doing to mitigate the potential biohazardous impact on personnel and citizens? And personnel, I'm talking about the people that are picking it up.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. That's a really good question, and I would say there's probably three parts to it. There's this funding, which goes as the $115,000 that was procured and goes towards the Clean Sweep program. But in addition to that, our Parks Department, as you're, and most people are probably aware, plays an active role in cleaning up needles in parks, as well as our encampment response team. So they would do their best to work collaboratively, and so the approaches might change depending on the group. So with the Clean Sweep program, they are required to ensure that everything is disposed of safely, and that's a program that they would put in place and that they have their own training and safe work practices. And then additionally, our Parks Department has a number of safe work practices that they're put in place. So the training is there for the Parks Department specifically. I have some of them in front of me of safe work practices for safe handling and disposal of needles and syringes, and then also blood, bodily fluids, fecal matter, and some of the other things they might encounter in parks. So in terms of disposal, our city stores department does have Sharps containers that we use, and every parks employee would have access to. And then when they're full, they go back to stores, and they are properly disposed of. It's a program that we run, and it also is the same program we'd run with EMS and some of the needles that they would have as well. So it's been in place for a long time.
Good. Thank you for that fulsome response, Ms. Kleisinger. One additional question is in regards to a comment that the mayor made, which I fully agree with, and so perhaps it would give you an opportunity to respond to this as well. We're talking about more than needles. We're talking about biohazardous materials that can infect our employees and others who may come into contact with them. So, are we utilizing some of these funds to train our employees in how to handle this and how to properly dispose of these types of materials? This goes beyond needles.
So if you wanted more information about the Clean Sweep program specifics, I would be able to get that for you because they would do their own training for Clean Sweep members. But what I can speak to in the Parks Department is that they have a number of PPE and different things available to them, everything from booties to thicker gloves to things they can wear on their face. So they do have a number of things that they can use. And then they are required to follow the safe work practices. But additionally, two things. I would say that every employee has a right to refuse unsafe work and talk to their foreman if they don't feel like the work they are doing is safe. And then we also would hope that they have tailgate sessions quite often in our Parks Department, so they can come and provide feedback, and then they can get better each year.
Thank you for that explanation. The tailgate component I'm a little bit leery of, but that's okay. It's just my interpretation of it. Last piece of that is the disposal of these materials. Can you express how that might be, how we might be doing that and how that might be trained, considering how that is handled in other cities, and are we consistent with the way in which biohazardous materials are packaged and disposed of in comparison to cities like Calgary and Edmonton?
I think specifically because our EMS department has done this for a long time, we are consistent and did have a process in place, so that's sort of piggybacked on that one. And then additionally, our landfill does have specific rules in place, so if there's anything else that we're disposing of that would be going to a landfill, we would let them know what's on our trucks and where it would need to be disposed of. But there's a lot of safe work practices in place for double bagging and putting things in the proper spot to be disposed of.
Thank you very much for that explanation.
All right, thank you. I see no further questions in the queue, so turn that back to Councillor Park to open debate.
Thank you. As stated earlier, we've been doing this since 2019. It's hard to believe 5 years, and it's kind of sad that we are in a situation like this, but this is crucial funds, and I also believe that the community values this service very much, and people do know that there is a number to call if they do see something, so they should take advantage of it, and I'd ask for council support.
With that, the question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. I have a resolution from Councillor Carlson. Infrastructure Canada's Reaching Home, Canada's Homelessness Strategy. 10.2, be it resolved the City Council approve the expenditure of $5.587.012 let's try this again. $5,587,000 and $5,587,012. Thank you. 0 cents, yeah, that's you go. For federal fiscal years 2024 to 2028 from the designated communities and Indigenous streams of Infrastructure Canada's Reaching Home. Canada's homeless strategy to support projects aimed at reducing homelessness and projects aimed at preventing individuals and families at imminent risk from becoming homeless. So in 2024 to 2025, designated communities, 1.29 million, we'll say, and Indigenous, 696,488, total of $1,993,141. And in 2025 to 2026, you'll see it up on the screen. I won't go through all of them. If there's any questions, we can entertain those questions. And number 2, to direct administration to return to the Safety and Social Standing Policy Committee in Q2 of 2024 to present a proposed plan for funding allocations in year 2025 to 2028. And open to questions, Councillor Middleton Hope, Acting Mayor Middleton Hope.
Thank you. I suppose this question might go through the city manager to Ms. Kleisinger again. This funding has been characterized as funding specifically for homelessness and or Indigenous housing. But as I read through it, it strikes me as the funding may also be allocated to affordable housing. Have I characterized it correctly?
Sorry, Ms. Kleisinger, did you get that question? Just one moment, Councillor Middleton Hope.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got Mr. Malcolm is coming up as himself or yourself, Ms. Kleisinger, to answer that. I know Mr. Malcolm is here as well.
We thought we were just discussing whether it might be easier just to explain what the funding is used for and see if that helps. Councillor Middleton Hope, but Mr. Malcolm will give you an explanation.
Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you. If I may ask Councillor Middleton Hope, if you can please repeat the question.
Sure, Andrew. So in the documentation, it indicates that the funding is specifically for homelessness and or Indigenous housing. But does this include affordable housing that goes beyond those two group sets?
Yes, so the Reaching Home program includes a number of directives around the prevention of homelessness, which would include housing. So there are ability within the directives to redirect funding towards affordable housing projects. The challenge within that is that there are some pretty strict restrictions on capital funds in terms of how long they're used and what the disposal process is once those funds are not utilized for affordable housing anymore. But they definitely can go towards housing projects that are affordable in nature.
Are we anticipating submissions from a number of groups to access those funds? And do we reach out to any groups that may represent organizations that are interested in providing for affordable housing as opposed to homelessness housing and or Indigenous housing? Just want to make sure that it's more inclusive than it appears.
Yeah, so in our grant agreement with the federal government, there are a number of restrictions on us that we have to put in place in terms of how do we competitively procure the services that we're looking to award these funding amounts to. So in the second part of the resolution, it talks about administration coming back in Q2 to present a proposed plan. So right now we are working on updating our strategic plan that would guide where the gaps are in our community, and we'll use that strategy to identify what the areas that we are going to put out a call for, and then there will be a competitive call to the community to bring forward projects and opportunities to then hopefully award the funding to. So in short, yes, there will be a competitive procurement process coming up here for members of the community, organizations in our community, to bring forward ideas as to where this money can be directed towards.
Thank you.
And Mr. Malcolm, actually, I'll catch you while you're there if I could. I just wanted to make sure the community knows, so the $5.587 million is federal funding that comes through to the city to actually allocate to different organizations. correct?
That is correct, and this is a 4-year extension on an existing agreement that we have with the federal government.
And there's not municipal tax that is part of this. This is strictly federal.
There is no
grants.
municipal tax matching component for this program. This is fully federally funded.
Thank you. I see no further questions, so, Councillor Carlson, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not sure, I'll direct this probably to city manager or designate. The funding is substantially reduced in years 3 and 4. Is this program being phased out, or is this traditionally how they do the funding, is sort of front loaded and then it tapers off?
Thanks for the question. So this is new. In our last 4 years, the numbers were pretty consistent across all 4 years. So the number in the first 2 years here represents a slight decrease on what we've experienced or received in the last 4 years. However, that sharp drop in 26 to 28 is something that was concerning to administration. And we know that the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness has put out significant amount of advocacy effort already to ensure that in the next federal budget, which is, I believe, going to be announced in the next month, that this is hopefully addressed. And we certainly wait and hope that it is, because that type of drop will be pretty significantly noticed in our community.
Agreed. Thank you. That was my concern as well. It seems like it's being phased out. Is there something we could add our advocacy support to? You mentioned one of the groups that is advocating. Would it be appropriate for our council or the mayor to write a letter of support for that? The drop is quite concerning to me.
Yeah, I think that's at council's direction, but I mean, any advocacy is good advocacy, and I do know that this is something that there are other organizations looking at right now, and the concern is something that is across all municipalities in Canada. This is not unique to Lethbridge. This is a drop in funding that is consistent across the country. Some municipalities, unfortunately, were even a greater drop. So I guess in that sense, we are fortunate.
Thank you for that. I may consider bringing something forward to governance at some point then. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You can continue on, Councillor Campbell. My gosh. Looking at Councillor Campbell and Councillor Carlson, you can continue on with opening debate. There's no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think most of it was covered in the Q&A portion. As was stated, this is an extension, a 4-year extension to our ongoing agreement for our Reaching Home dollars that are federal flow-through dollars to our community. Administration shares my concern that this program may be coming to an end, so we should probably look at it at our governance committee to do some advocacy around this, because the impacts in our community are pretty important. So this is just to alert council that we did get this extension and that these dollars will need to be expended over the next 4 years, and to direct administration to come back to which committee are we bringing this back to? I can't even remember. But to an SPC with a plan to expend these dollars in the best manner in our community. And I'd ask for my colleagues' support.
Thank you, Councillor Carlson. Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. All right, we're going to move to council updates. And we'll start off, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much. And just bringing an update from the February 28th Police Commission meeting. As everybody knows, Councillor Palladino and I sit on the Lethbridge Police Commission. The documents for which the meeting can be found on the Lethbridge Police Commission website, so full documentation can be found there. I'd like to highlight that the 2024 Lethbridge Police Service Annual Policing Plan was presented at that February Commission meeting. As you might expect, the plan's creation was well underway during Q4 of 2023. I'd like to highlight that we've started to see some of that plan implemented through recent announcements, including the ongoing operation to target crime and disorder downtown. This was something that had been in the works for a number of months, as it takes some time to coordinate, and we look forward to Lethbridge Lethbridge Police Service's continued efforts in this and other projects related to its 2024 annual policing plan. Also, just to highlight and bring to Council's attention that a number of 2023 reports will be presented to the Police Commission tomorrow, including the 2023 LPS Annual Report. Again, these are available on the Lethbridge Police Commission website, and I certainly encourage members of council and the public to attend tomorrow if they are able. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Schmidt-Rempel. Any further council updates? Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick updates. I was able to attend our Economic Development Lethbridge orientation for incoming board members. One of the things that we did talk about at that orientation was a bit of the issue of having the deputy mayor rotate in and out every 6 months. And so I'll probably be bringing that just to council's attention, maybe Ms. Hilford's attention, that it may serve economic development Lethbridge better if they had a more stable or permanent member of council on that committee. So that's one update. The other update I'd like to just bring forward is Green Acres Housing Foundation has been awarded the provincial ministerial award for something. It's called the Safe Suite, or LEARN, Lethbridge Elder Abuse Resource Network, for having safe suites in our community. And so just congratulations to them for being recognized provincially for that partnership with LSCO. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carlson. Any further updates? Seeing now, hand is still up there, Councillor Carlson. You're done, correct? Oh,
Yes,
it's
sir.
down. All right. And you called yourself unstable. Okay. With that, we will continue our closed session. So I have a motion to go in closed. Okay. Oh, boy, go away for a week, and I tell you what. Let's have the question has been called. All in favor? Thank you. All right, with that, motion to go in closed. Councillor Dodick, thank you. All in favor?
It was an update. Voted to accept the updates.
Councillor Parker, you'll take from Councillor Parker, closed meeting, human resource matter, be it resolved the City Council. Minute here, sorry.
But I also, like, you can see that I'm combined.
Oh, can you, your mics are on, can you take your mics off? We're in open now.
Somebody just won some money in the jackpot.
All right, are we good? All right, I have a resolution from Councillor Parker. Be it resolved that City Council, and I have 14.1, I do not have anything for. Be it resolved that City Council.
That's good, then we just, it's just in case there was extra action.
Okay. Be resolved that City Council direct a closed meeting discussion with respect to human resource matter, verbal remain confidential pursuant to Section 24, advice from officials, and 27, privileged legal of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Parker.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Right. That's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution from Councillor Parker. Closed meeting, Alberta Health Services AHS contract. Be it resolved that City Council authorize the City Clerk and Mayor to sign the master service agreement as provided in confidential attachment 2 with Alberta Health Services for emergency medical services administered through the Lethbridge Fire and EMS Department. And number 2, direct that the Lethbridge Fire and EMS Department to present in Q2 of 2024 to Economic and Finance SPC their initiatives to support EMS operations over the approved contract term of 2.5 years. And further be resolved, the City Council direct the closed meeting presentations, reports, documentations, and discussions with respect to Alberta Health Services. Contract remain confidential pursuant to Sections 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, 23, local public body confidences, 24, advice from officials, and 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Parker. Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. 14.4 from Councillor Parker, City of Lethbridge application for regional airport development grant. 14.4, be it resolved that City Council approves expenditure up to $200,000 conditional on the successful award of grant funding up to $150,000 by the Alberta government with $50,000 of matching funding from the existing operating budget. And further be resolved, the City Council directed the closed meeting reports, documents, and discussion with respect to the City of Lethbridge application for regional airport development grant remain confidential pursuant to Sections 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Parker. Question's been called. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. And the final one, 14.5, from Councillor Parker, labor negotiations update verbal. Be it resolved that City Council directed the closed meeting discussions with respect to labor negotiations update verbal remain confidential pursuant to Section 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy Act. Councillor Parker. Question been called. All in favor? Oh, and I'm sorry, there is one more. All right. This one might take a while.
No, just the top.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Be it resolved that City Council postpone this item, which is 14.3 Nonprofit Affordable Housing Tax Rebate Grant Program, to the April 9th meeting of Council. Councillor Parker. Question's been called. All in favor? And that is unanimous. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks all. Take care.